Michael Tour.
Did, Debbie, did snow stick out at you out there at all?
Oh, a little bit, but then it's all gone down.
All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, folks. I'm going to start this meeting tonight at 6:01. Can I get a roll call, please?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Barbara Hebert.
Here.
Charles Costick.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
Rick Collins.
Resolution 190, approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of October 3rd and October 17th, 2019 be approved and the reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Caustic, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Anything for public comment this evening? You know, there's a couple of periods, so. All right, what I'm going to do, if you please humor me for a moment. I know we have a couple of public hearings. I'm gonna do my best to stay as close to the published time, maybe a minute or so afterwards, but we're gonna do other resolutions up and in between them if there's no comment period. So, or comments during the period. Resolution 181, abstract.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 11A-19, 2109-2238 for $676,619.20. And abstract 11A-19A, 324 to 350 prepays in the amount of $2,133,226.66 be received as reviewed by the audit committee and the supervisors hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Caustic, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Resolution 182, request to advertise for sealed bids, Bluff Point Pump Station improvements.
Whereas plans and specifications have been prepared by LaBerge Engineering and Consulting Group entitled Bluff Point Pump Station Improvement. And whereas Scott Stoddard, Water and Wastewater Director, has requested to solicit bids, now therefore be resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise for sealed bids for a project entitled Bluff Point Pump Station Improvement, for which bid specifications and non-conclusive documents will be available from the town clerk's office. And the said advertisement shall be placed in the Press Republican with bids to be opened December 12, 2019 at 11 a.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Plattsburgh, 151 Baker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, 12901. And to be further resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board reserves the right to reject any and all bids offered. And to be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the town clerk and the director of Water and Wastewater Department and the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Caustic, is there a second? Second. Wood, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. All right, at this time, the town, notice is hereby given that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board will meet and hold public hearings here on the Town Hall located on the Banker Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, November 7, 2019, at 6:07 p.m. prevailing. Preliminary budget for 2020 and the elected officials' salaries. We will be accepting the written comments into the record of the hearing and open public hearing from the floor for public comment. Is there a motion for the beginning of the public hearing?
So moved.
I'm gonna go Hebert, Wood, any discussion on that item? Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, the public hearing is officially opened at 6:06 p.m. At this time, is there anybody willing or interested in submitting written comments into the record or providing comments from the floor? We're gonna leave that public hearing open, and we are going to continue to go back to other resolutions. Resolution 183, request to advertise for sealed bids trade road pump station improvements.
Whereas plans and specifications have been prepared by LaBerge Engineering Consulting Group entitled Trade Road Pump Station Improvement. Whereas Scott Stoddard, Water and Wastewater Director, has requested to solicit bids. Now therefore be resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise for sealed bids for the project entitled Trade Road Pump Station Improvement, for which bid specifications and non-conclusive document will be available from the town clerk, and said advertisement shall be placed in the Press Republican, with, with bids opening December 12th, 2019, at 11 a.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Plattsburgh, 151 Baker Road, 12901. And it be further resolved that the Town Board, Town of Plattsburgh, reserves the right to reject any and all bids offered. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the town clerk, Director of Water and Wastewater, and the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Caustic, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, any discussion? Seeing none, all's in favor, please say aye. So does carry. Resolution 184, appointment of Michael Provost as MEO 2 in the Highway Department.
Whereas the Highway Department has a vacancy and there's a need to add another staff member to the department. Whereas all applications for said position have been reviewed and the job had been posted by Tim Dubray, Highway Superintendent, as per union contract. Whereas the Highway Superintendent recommends that Michael Provost be appointed to said position. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board, Town of Plattsburgh, does hereby authorize the hiring and appointment of Mr. Provost to the vacant position of MEO 2 at an hourly rate of $20.50 as indicated in the current Teamster agreement, and that a copy be given to Civil Service for their final review and approval. And it be further resolved that this appointment shall become effective November 18th, 2019, following Civil Service final approval, and the supervisors hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents for the appointment of Mr. Provost to this position of MEO 2 in the Highway Department, with a probationary period not to exceed 12 months. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, highway superintendent, and one be placed in Mr. Provost's personnel file.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, any discussion? I'm just going to add that Tim has, as it stated, been a person down, and this will round out that team, especially with, as they say in Game of Thrones, winter is coming. So, I know he's appreciative of the time, so, all right? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. All right. Just give me a moment. All right. Notice is hereby given to the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board will hold public hearings here at the Town Hall located on the Bank Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, November 7th, 2019, at 6:10 p.m. prevailing time in relation to Town of Plattsburgh Consolidated Water District, Town of Plattsburgh Consolidated Sewer District, Base Water District, Base Sewer District, Base Storm Water Management District, Base Highway Maintenance Improvement District, Highway Townwide Town of Plattsburgh Lighting Districts, and Consolidated Ambulance. And it is further, acceptance of written comments into the record of the hearing will be accepted, as well as open comments from the floor. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
I'm gonna give it to Caustic. Wood, is there any discussion on the item? Can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costa,
Yes.
Mike Castro.
Yes. Time, 6:11. Is there anybody wishing to provide written comment or comments from the floor on this particular item? We will leave this item open. Moving forward to Resolution 185, New York State Association of Towns Annual Meeting of 2020.
Excuse me, whereas it is in the best interest of town employees, the respective boards remain current and platform concerning changes in regulations. Whereas training is being offered in New York City through the Associations of Town on February 16, 2020 to February 19, 2020. Therefore be resolved, the supervisor, 2 council persons, town clerk, 2 justices, and 2 court clerks and senior planner be approved to attend the training. And to be further resolved, that aforementioned individuals receive training for the year of 2020 with the expenses of their training to be paid from each department's budget. And to be further resolved, the supervisor be authorized to submit a receipt for payment for said yearly training, and a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager, and a copy be placed in their respective personnel files.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Caustic. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Resolution one
Want
eighty.
to open up the next public hearing?
I can't yet. That's why I keep checking my clock. I'm trying to be as close to time and respectful of folks. Resolution 186 in support of the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act of 2019, HR 763.
Whereas members of the board of the town of Plattsburgh are committed to protecting town residents from the disabilities, weather patterns, extreme weather events, and adverse health effects of the climate change. And whereas there is a scientific consensus regarding the reality of climate change and the connection between human activity, especially combustion of fossil fuels that create greenhouse gases and warming the planet. Whereas the United States Congress has a responsibility to act swiftly, effectively on the issues of climate change. And whereas disabilities, weather patterns, extreme weather events.
Destabilized weather patterns.
Pardon me?
Destabilized weather patterns.
Oh, okay. Where was I? Destabilized weather patterns, extreme weather events, and other serious impacts are driven by greenhouse gas emissions and fossil fuels, and major swift away from such carbon fuels is the cornerstone of any meaningful response. And whereas steadily increasing fee or taxes on fossil fuels at a point of their entry into the economy, as well as the well, mine, or point of importation, would be straightforward way to make effective use of free market mechanisms to promote transition to greater energy conservations and renewable energy sources. Whereas a rebate of all renewal generated by the fee of the United States residents in equal shares would mitigate the impact on raising energy prices for household generated many new clean energy jobs while potentially improving the overall economy. Now therefore be resolved that the members of the board of the town of Plattsburgh call our representatives of the United States Congress to address climate changes by adopting one important measure among other energy innovations and Carbon Defend Act, EICDA, House Rep 763, as a foundation for sound, effective national policy.
Is there a motion?
I move this motion.
Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Hebert. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Wood, you have the floor.
The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act of 2019 is one of the first important steps that we could take to prevent long-term devastating effects of climate change. When I first began to serve on the council, as town council, and every year since, I've considered it my obligation to the citizens to look at the best ideas to enable our town to survive and prosper for future generations. Protection of the well-being of our residents is paramount to me. I'm introducing this resolution because I believe that in order for town officials to protect our current and future residents, we have to deal with the long-term effects of global warming. Since I'm in my 70s, I may not be affected by this climate change. However, it is imperative that we limit the adverse effects of destabilized weather patterns, extreme weather events, and the adverse health effects of climate change that will impact those younger than I and future generations. We're already experiencing warmer temperatures, heavier downpours, and increased precipitation, higher sustained winds, and higher wind gusts. These factors threaten our region's commerce, our trout, our salmon, our other fisheries, our maple sugaring operations, our winter sports and tourism industries, and our agriculture. These factors also cause damage to our electrical grid, hamper the ability of our infrastructure to process excess runoff, causing problems with roadways and culverts. And there will be more health risks due to the increased runoff, overwhelming waste management and water treatment facilities, which will contribute to more contaminants affecting the purity of our lake water. Warmer, wetter conditions foster increasing populations of ticks, mosquitoes, non-native insects, and poisonous plants that will increase the risk of Lyme disease, West Nile virus, and other dangers to our residents as well as our pets. Pollution in our atmosphere due to the burning of fossil fuels increases the rate of asthma and the number of premature deaths in the region. The increased costs associated with the above hurt businesses, taxpayers, municipal budgets, and families, both health-wise and monetarily. There is a scientific consensus regarding the reality of climate change and the combustion of fossil fuels creating greenhouse gases and the warming of our planet. There's no time to lose in my estimation. A major shift away from fossil fuels is immediately required. We must act now for the sake of our children and grandchildren and future generations. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act of 2019, H.R. 763, is a vital step in mitigating the serious impacts driven by greenhouse gases created by the burning of fossil fuels. It would provide a steadily increasing fee or tax on fossil fuels at their point of entry into the economy. This makes use of free market mechanisms to promote the transition to greater energy conservation and renewable sources of energy. Since the cost of fossil fuels will go up, all revenue generated by the fee or tax would be rebated to all United States citizens in equal shares. This will not only neutralize the impact of rising energy prices, it will also generate many new clean energy jobs. I believe that in my lifetime, I have seen a considerable change in the weather patterns from a time when we normally had a week or two below 20 degrees below zero, and a lot of time below zero. We had a heavier snowfall. That has considerably changed, and the lake used to freeze over 4 out of 5 years. Since 1975, 80, it has not, and the snowfall has lessened, and the temperature has become warmer. So I really believe that these things are going to affect us in the future even to a greater extent. And I'm asking for the support of the board to send this resolution asking for help in a bipartisan manner to our Congresswoman and our 2 United States Senators, this resolution was, a similar resolution was introduced in a previous year and was bipartisan, and our Congresswoman was in favor of it. So I would like to show that we appreciate that and that we would encourage her to do this again.
Discussion? Tom, can you put in context what other local, either county, towns, cities, villages, etc., have entertained this? Because I will make it, I'm speaking for myself and myself alone, I won't address the topic at the moment, but I'd like to get a sense for what others are doing around the country, and I know you've said that you've done some research on that.
Yes, a number of boards have passed a resolution similar to this to encourage our representative, their representative, to support this. And in the congressional district that we live in, there hasn't been any that I know of. But in other congressional districts, New York 25, New York 19, New York 23, New York 25, New York 24, and New York 42, different bodies, legislative bodies, have passed a resolution, and these are not all boards that are just Democrat. There are boards that are all Republican, there are boards that are mixed, and there are boards that are Democrat. So, do you want specific names of the towns?
I'm just, for the public that may be interested in that, so.
The town of Kinderhook, New York, and 19th Congressional District, Penfield, New York, 25th Congressional District. Those boards were all Republican and passed, the resolution passed unanimously. Village of Kinderhook in the 19th Congressional District, that was both Democrat and Republican, passed unanimously. Town of Pittsburgh, New York, in Congressional District 25, a letter of endorsement. This was passed unanimously by both half and half Democrats, half Republicans. Town of DeWitt, New York, in the 24th Congressional District, it's a majority Democratic board that passed unanimously. Tompkins County in New York, the 23rd Congressional District, it's a majority Democrat, the resolution was passed unanimously. And when I say majority, there was 3 Republicans on the board too, so. Town of Danby, New York, passed unanimously. Brockport, New York, these are in the 25th Congressional District, passed unanimously. Rochester, New York, passed unanimously. Syracuse, New York, board majority, passed with 1 dissenting vote. Town of Rhinebeck, New York, village of New Paltz, town of New Paltz. Those are some of the ones that have passed it. There are other businesses and other citizens groups that have also passed resolutions supporting this innovation. The energy innovation and carbon dividend. It will not harm the residents. And from the information that I've researched, when it says it will go back to the money that was collected will go back to the citizens throughout the United States equally. It will be equally, but since the cost of the fossil fuels things, oil, gas, whatever, is going to go up, then the greater burden is going to be on the wealthiest who fly their private jets, who have many homes, who have luxury cars. So therefore, when the dividend is passed back equally, those that are in a lesser income situation will actually benefit to a greater degree.
Any other further discussion? Seeing none?
I would like to add one other thing. Our other colleague, Meg LaFave, is absent tonight. She called me to say that she wanted everyone to know that she is in strong support of this resolution.
Okay. Do you want a voice vote or do you want a roll call vote?
Roll call.
Okay. Mr. Collins, can I get a roll
Thomas
call?
Wood,
Yes.
Laurie Higgert,
Resolution like this time requires a lot of thought and deliberation and strong thinking on how to move forward. I'll vote yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Passman.
Tom, you and I have had a number of conversations. What I am going to do is I'm going to lend a yes for this resolution to move forward in the spirit of more conversations. I believe that this is an imperfect system in imperfect times, and my statement would be to the general public that more citizens in general need to become more aware across the wide spectrum of things. And if this helps start a conversation, I endorse it. But I will tell you, I don't like the idea of, I don't want to nationalize town board resolutions continuously. It's just not something that I personally, I get the spirit of what you're trying to do. That's why I'm gonna lend a vote, yes to it, because there's things of it that I like, but there's also things of it that I don't like, with reservations. And knowing that we are not the policymakers in this, and that they have to be guided and get a better understanding, that I hope that through consultation with their constituents that they represent, that it will be polished.
And I agree with you on some of that. I would just emphasize that it's gotta start somewhere, where we're gonna start the education. And if this creates some ability for people to talk about it, that would be good. This is already happening with all of the, our congressional representatives and senators in Washington. They've been working on this. It is talked about, and obviously in other areas. I feel that it's important for people to know about it. They do not have to agree with it, but I think that they should know about it.
Resolution does carry. I'm going to go back to a public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board will meet and hold public hearings hereunto at Town Hall located on the Banker Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, November 7th at 2019 at 6:15. Prevailing time, Town Center Smart Growth Plan, of which we will accept written comments into the record for the hearing and open the public hearing for comments from the floor. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Hebert, Wood, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barb,
Yes.
Hebert,
Yes, Rick.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Mike Cashman.
Yes, the time the public hearing is officially open is 6:28 p.m. We will keep that open for a moment. Is there anybody wishing to provide written comment to the record for this public hearing, or to stand forward and provide public comment from the floor? Seeing none, we will keep that open and go to Resolution 187, repair of the pump for Trade Road.
Whereas the Town of Plattsburgh procurement policy outlines the requirement of purchased goods and services. And whereas if lead pump at the Trade Road pump station has failed and cannot be repaired, the pump is critical to maintaining the flow of wastewater. And whereas Mr. Paul Wright, Assistant Superintendent of Water and Wastewater Department, has obtained quotes in the amount of $6,080.77 plus delivery costs. The quote has been reviewed by Mr. Scott Stoddard, Director of the Water and Wastewater Department. Whereas the pump repair and delivery is estimated at 3 to 4 weeks. Therefore be resolved that the town board is hereby authorized the repair of the pump, and it be further resolved that the supervisor he is authorized to sign all related documents relative to the purchase from the account as so noted, and that a further copy be given to Mr. Stoddard, Water and Wastewater Director.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, any discussion?
Just for the record, it can be repaired. I think when it was
Yeah.
read, it was read as can be. I did, can,
Without a T. Can.
correct, can be repaired.
Yeah.
I talked to Scott this afternoon, we knew that this had failed, it's been going on for about a week or so. Unfortunately, we know that we're going out to bid to have that repaired. We had discussed the possibility of getting the new equipment, but the electrical, the size of the vault, none of that's gonna work until such time that the new equipment or the new work is done out there. So it was $6,000 to repair, $9,000 for a new one, but it would actually take it longer to get the new one here than it would to repair the one. So
Yeah.
you know, he and Paul worked back and forth with it for quite a while, this is the best option.
And you can't plan timing on
No.
that type of department to
Now, we missed it
hold
by,
off until,
missed
6
it by
months?
six or
6
8
months?
months, but, yeah.
all right, well,
And
That's-
we have to have it. I know at one point they had both vac trucks on there, the new one and the one that we're gonna
Yeah.
sell,
Okay.
but they them both going at one point.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 So does carry. I'm gonna go back to our, public hearings. Is there anyone wishing to provide written comments or comments from the floor, regarding the budget for 2020 or the elected official salaries?
So, just something quick,
Yeah.
Everybody knows that I was here for all the budget, I know it's in the budget and so on and so forth. I think, too often, and I said this at the budget hearing, people don't give thanks, are not thankful for our employees here. And I just think that we should all be thankful for Mr. Bowman and the finance department for their work on this budget, it was really a good budget.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
I
Deb.
would-
I would, yeah.
And-
He's
Thank you,
hanging
Deb.
under the table, but don't you?
Yeah,
And
thank
Debbie,
you,
we
Debbie.
would, absolutely, endorse your statement,
Yeah.
And.
Also, the department heads worked hard too, and they all worked really, really well, and keeping the budget down to, pretty flat, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
They are,
Yeah.
we have two department heads here tonight, because we have public hearings, and, each one of them, I can honestly say, we recognize that as a team, we're imperfect, but each day, people are committed to doing an honest day's work and a better day's work than the day before. And when we sit down and we review the budget, it's we focus on the need, of the community through that spectrum of, a community that that you wanna live in, because quality of life means a lot, but also a place to invest, like infrastructure, et cetera. So,
Well, I think, in light of the fact that everybody is getting higher taxes with their water use and because of the capital projects, I think, it was important to keep everything else pretty well, flat across the board, so people don't get totally hysterical, especially for people that are on fixed incomes and so on.
Yeah, it's good to, and to add to your comment, Mr. Bowen is also very accessible
Indeed.
to our town board when in fact we need our questions answered or
Yep.
to clarify or, yeah. Thank you, Pat.
So thank you, Patrick.
is there a motion to officially close this public hearing?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Bostic, can I get a roll call, please, to close the public hearing?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Mike Castro.
Yes, the public hearing is officially closed at 6:34 PM. I'm gonna continue, with that, process. Is there anyone seeking to provide written comments or public, comments from the floor regarding the town of Plattsburgh's consolidated water district, town of Plattsburgh's consolidated sewer district, base water district, base sewer district, base stormwater management district, base highway maintenance improvement district, highway townwide, town of Plattsburgh lighting districts, or the consolidated ambulance? Is anyone looking to speak or provide comment at this time? Seeing nothing from the floor, I would entertain a motion to, close this public hearing. Is there a motion to that
So
effect?
moved.
Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Caustic, can I get a roll call, please?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Mike Castro.
Yes. The public hearing will be officially closed at 6:35 PM. I'm gonna leave the smart growth open just for, one more resolution, just to be on the safe side. Resolution 188, adoption of the 2020 budget.
Whereas the town board, town of Plattsburgh, has met at the time and place specified in the notice of public hearing to review the entire 2020 preliminary budget and heard all persons desirous to be heard thereon, and now therefore be resolved that after the meeting, the department heads have the public hearing preliminary budget amended and hereby adopted as the final budget for the town of Plattsburgh for the fiscal year beginning first day of January 2020, and to be attached budget as adopted and entered in detail in the minutes of the proceedings of the town board. And it be further resolved, the supervisor shall prepare and certify in duplicate copies of said annual budget as adopted by the town board, together with the assessment rules for the benefit of improving, adopting pursuant to sections 116 and 202A, subdivision 2 of the town law, and deliver a copy thereof to the Clinton County Board of Legislators. And it be further resolved that this resolution be given to the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Bostic. Any discussion? Ditto to the comments before. I am gonna ask for a roll call vote on this, please.
Okay? Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barb Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Mike Cash.
Yes, the resolution carries. Thank you, Mr. Bowen. We're gonna go back to the public hearing regarding the town center smart growth plan. Is there anybody wishing to provide written comments into the record of the hearing, or to provide comments from the floor regarding the town center smart growth plan? Seeing no comments from the floor, I would like to also extend many thanks to Trevor Cole, who, with his colleagues, have guided us through this process, and we are in the home stretch of final adoption. And I think that this will truly be one of those documents that will be noted as transformational. I know that's a word in government that's often used too much, but I think that of the municipalities in the North Country, the town of Plattsburgh truly is true to its plans, and it becomes good guiding documents. So thank you for your work on that.
And I'd like to add to that on the record too. I've had opportunity to review the material since the final presentation. The work is amazing. And I would agree with Michael. I think it positions us, not so much for our generation, but for generations to come. And I think it really sets the town apart from the majority of the municipalities in the North Country. So I think it positions us well and is gonna lead us well into the future. So Trevor, thanks to you, the Chazen Group, and all of your work groups. I know that there was a ton of people involved with those various work groups. I don't know how we could ever thank them all personally, but please pass along our thanks. That was a lot of work, and I think it was great the way that you brought the community in.
Yeah, I also want to point out too that our boards are very important, so planning board, zoning board of appeals,
Exactly.
they certainly have an integral involvement in this, so thank you.
Can I get a motion?
I'd like to ask a question. Are we meeting tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Just wanna make sure, okay.
Is there,
You could ask me that, Tom.
is there a
Well,
motion?
yeah, but you know,
Staying on topic. Is there a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved.
Bostic, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, roll call, please.
Thomas Wood,
yes.
Barb Hebert.
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Mike Cash.
Yes, we will close this public hearing, just as I was writing the time change, so I'll give it to 6:40, so 6:40 PM. All right. Going back to the resolutions, resolution 189, complete assessment roll for 2020. I know you folks probably wanna go home, so feel free. So, thanks.
All right.
Look at that face.
You
I
guys
think
wanna
he
say
want-
anything in the public hearing?
He wants to stay, Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Whereas the town board,
You got a
town of
twin,
Plattsburgh,
Trevor.
has met at the
Baby
time,
tree.
place specified in the notice of public hearing to review the completed assessment rules for ambulance, water, sewer, stormwater management, lighting, highway districts, and all persons desirous to be heard thereon now therefore be resolved, the complete assessment rule be and hereby adopted as the annual assessment rule for the town of Plattsburgh. And it be further resolved, the supervisor shall prepare and certify in duplicate copies of the assessment roll for benefit of improvements adopted pursuant to sections 116 and 2028 subdivision 2 of the town law, and deliver one copy thereof to the Clinton County Board of Legislators. And it be further resolved, the assessor and finance manager be giving a copy of this resolution.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Resolution 190, delinquent water and sewer re-levy charges.
Whereas certain water and sewer, water wastewater bills have not been paid and are now delinquent, therefore be resolved that a list of delinquent water and wastewater charges, respective districts for the 2019 submitted by the Water and Wastewater Department be accepted and placed on file, and a copy be forwarded to the Clinton County Board of Legislators to be added to the 2020 tax roll, and that a copy be given to the town clerk pursuant to section 198-3 of the town law. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So does carry. Resolution 191, one-year utility warranties refund for Heritage Heights subdivision.
Whereas the town of Plattsburgh Planning Board has reviewed and approved all requirements of Heritage Heights subdivision Phase 7, 2018. And whereas Heritage Heights subdivision 7, 2018 has on file with the town of Plattsburgh a one-year utilities warranty for the project in the original amount of $4,800 plus accrued interest. And whereas the town board is in receipt of a letter dated October 21st from the town water and wastewater department confirming satisfactory condition of the improvement for 1 year after installation. Whereas the project has satisfied all requirements of the town of Plattsburgh and is no longer necessary to hold said deposit. Now therefore be resolved, the supervisors hereby authorized and directed to the release of said deposit in the amount of $4,800 plus accrued interest to date. And it be further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution be forwarded by the Planning Community Development Department Secretary with the return of deposit to Heritage Homes, New York, LLC.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Caustic, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Resolution 192, 2019 budget amendment.
Whereas the town may need to amend the 2019 budget to reflect changes in revenue and expenditures during the year. Now therefore be resolved, whereas budget amendment will offset extending fund balance and additional revenues. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, town of Plattsburgh, authorizes the following budget amendment. Highway fund, increased revenue, $60,639.22. Increase expenditures, capital outlay CHIPS, $60,639.22 for New York State Extreme Water Recovery and Pave New York appropriations. And it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the highway superintendent and finance manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. I know of no reason to go into an executive session this evening. Just checking. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Caustic, is there a second?
Get that in.
I noticed there was no hesitation on this.
Pull the trigger quick on
Okay.
that one.
It's-
Young lady wants to leave. It's a bad night to be.
Yeah, blame it on the young lady.
She's doing well though.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert, any discussion? No. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Please drive home safely, everyone. Thank you.
Time to make-
You betcha.
6:46.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your hard work.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
another tough
The,
uphill battle.
the one group that I feel bad for, is Board of Elections, in particular, do you know which community I'm gonna reference?
I have no clue.
Clinton.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Why?
happened?
Nobody worked there.
Neither Democrats or Republicans had a caucus. It
Oh,
was-
yeah, so it was all write-ins.
It was, and the process by which they have to, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
to certify those elections, so,
Give them something to do, they ought to earn their keep. Right? How much are they charging the town? Oh, and you know, that money, all that extra money is only for workers. It's not for the stuff.
And-
The stuff
and
is grant stuff.
I think it was Onondaga County, cause I stayed overnight in Watertown last night, so I had the Syracuse news on. They had some major league problems there. They weren't able to post everything, I think until after like 11 o'clock, because they had trouble doing the upload.
With the what?
With all the poll